Well, well, well. Let's talk about the SAVE Act, shall we? Yes, that little bill up there on Capitol Hill, honey, that has to do with our voter registration. Yes, about our identification for our registration to vote. Now, while I'm absolutely for locking it down and tightening it up to prevent voter fraud, I mean, after all, we just busted a bunch of Russians down there in Florida that committed some voter fraud, and the same week that the FBI task force team that is task force with finding those foreign interrupters. Yes, like the one they found down there last Monday in Florida. Just so happened by Thursday, Daddy ordered the DOJ to disband that particular section of the FBI. No, we don't need anybody looking for election fraud anymore. But anyway, let me get back to the SAVE Act. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So basically, what you need to know is you need to have multiple forms of identification from now on. You need to go out and get your passport expeditiously, honey. Yes, and get you a couple of copies of your birth certificate as well. And if you are married and your name has been changed, make sure you have a couple copies of your marriage certificate too. Just to back on up. But the real thing that's being targeted here, because I hear a lot of people talk about how women are being targeted because we change our name when we get married. Well, a whole lot of people change their names for a whole lot of reasons. My son changed his name. See, he was named after his father, first and last name. And his father was never around. So when my son was 16 years old, he saved up his own money to hire an attorney to have his name changed because he didn't want to be named after a man that had nothing to do with him. He told the judge he wanted to carry his mother's family name, so he is now named after my grandfather. But anyway, that's my own little story. So lots of people get their names changed for lots of reasons. So now when you go to vote, you're going to need your passport, your birth certificate, and possibly your marriage certificate. But the big part of the SAVE bill not many people are talking about, and I need you to understand the most important part, is that this is going to affect voter registration, online voter registration, which has helped get more people registered to vote than any time ever in history. It's made registering to vote and voting more accessible to younger people, people who don't have access to leave their home, people in rural areas that can't get to where they need to get to vote. So this affects a lot of people, not just women and people who change their names. It's a big deal, baby. It's a big deal. And I tell you this to tell you that you need to make sure you have all forms of identification, and you need to make sure that you know where you need to go in order to register to vote in person. And you need to register to vote more than you've ever needed to register to vote in your life, because every election matters. We have an election here in my town for mayor soon, and it's an important one, honey. There's elections everywhere. There's an election in Florida soon that is very important. This is how they're going to try to stop us from exercising our right to vote. And we're not going to let them do that. There's a whole lot of things that they're trying to stop us from doing, exercising our rights over our body, our rights over who we love, how many children we have, how many children we shouldn't have, all sorts of things. So for the next 4 years, I encourage you, particularly if you are a white woman, do not birth any children at all. Do not give them what they want. They want a whole bunch of new little white babies. As a matter of fact, if you was a wise woman, you would just shut down your cuckoo for the next 4 years. They don't even want to give us any health care to regulate it and take care of it. So if they're not willing to, take care of it, then they shouldn't have it, honey. You don't give something to somebody that they don't take care of and appreciate. Do you understand what I'm saying, honey? Yes. So go get your passport, get some copies of your birth certificate, make sure you have all your identification in line. Do not marry anyone. They want us all married and birthing babies? Hell no. Just lock it down. That's how that's going to go. Just lock it down. Now, I understand this is going to upset quite a few men out there, but there are other things we can do, baby, besides birth children. Yes, there are other ways to tend to you. And you know that just like I know that. Hell.